You ever have one of those moments where you just stand there, staring at your yard, thinking, well, that's new? That was me, standing over the remains of my outdoor movie screen, shredded like someone let loose a wild animal. But it wasn't a wild animal, it was my HOA yep. The folks who were supposed to protect property values decided my screen was a threat to suburban civilization, and I was about to teach them the kind of lesson they wouldn't soon forget. So here's the deal. My name's Scott. I'm 42, a pretty regular guy, work from home IT consultant, dad of 2, lover of backyard movie nights. We moved into this neighborhood in Northern California about 5 years ago. Honestly, it's a nice spot. Clean streets, friendly enough neighbors, lots of families. The kind of place where you feel safe letting your kids ride their bikes to the park. But of course, with the white picket fences comes the dreaded HOA. Now, I knew what I was signing up for, I thought. I'm not one of those guys who ignores the rules. I keep my lawn mowed, my trash cans out of sight. No pink flamingos on the lawn, I promise. But my outdoor movie screen? That was my little slice of joy. I'd put it up on Friday nights in the summer, big inflatable thing, about 12 feet wide, nothing crazy. We'd invite neighbors over, kids would sprawl on blankets, adults would have a beer and laugh at bad 80s movies. It was honestly a community builder, or so I thought. Then came her. Let's just call her Karen because, well, if the shoe fits. Karen got herself elected HOA president last fall, and boy, did things change fast. Suddenly, it was like living under a mini dictator. We started getting these passive-aggressive newsletters about preserving the aesthetic of the neighborhood and unauthorized structures. My screen wasn't even up except for a few hours a week, but I could feel the target on my back. And sure enough, a month ago, I got my first warning letter. Certified mail, no less. Said my movie screen was an unapproved structure and that it violated community guidelines. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I'd actually read the CC and RS when we bought the house. There was nothing in there about temporary screens or Friday night movies. So I wrote back, polite as can be, explaining that it was temporary for community use and completely within the guidelines. You'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Nope. 2 weeks later, I come home from picking up my kids at soccer practice and boom, my screen's trashed. I'm talking slashed fabric, frame bent, air blower thing smashed to bits. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe it was vandals at first, but then I saw the little folded paper stuck in my door. The HOA has removed and disposed of unauthorized structures in accordance with community standards. I swear, I had to sit down, I was so mad. Like, my hands were shaking. But instead of storming over to Karen's house, which, trust me, I wanted to do, I took a deep breath. I called a buddy of mine who's an attorney. His name's Jake, and let me tell you, this guy lives for HOA fights. I sent him the photos, the letters, and the CC and RS. His response? Oh, we're gonna have fun with this. Now here's where it gets interesting. Turns out the HOA absolutely did not have the right to destroy my property. Warnings? Sure. Fines? They could try. But straight up damaging and removing it without a court order? That was a giant legal no-no. Jake drafted up a demand letter that was polite, but firm, basically said they needed to replace my screen or we'd be seeing them in small claims court. Karen's response? A smug email saying they'd acted within their authority and that I should reconsider future unauthorized installations. That's when I knew we were taking this all the way. Court day rolls around. It's a small courtroom, just me, Jake, Karen, and their HOA's attorney, some guy who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The judge was this no-nonsense woman who I could tell had zero patience for HOA drama. We laid out our case. The screen was temporary, no rule prohibited it, and they destroyed it without due process. We had photos, copies of the CC and RS, witness statements from neighbors who loved movie night. And here's the kicker, our surprise witness, old Mr. Bennett. He's like 85, been in the neighborhood since it was built. He got up there and said, I've been watching movies in that yard since my wife passed. It's the one time a week I don't feel so lonely. You could feel the mood shift. Even the judge softened a little. Karen? She tried to argue it was about property values, that some residents had complained. But when the judge asked to see proof of these complaints, crickets. Turns out it was just Karen and maybe her one grumpy friend on the board who had a problem. The judge didn't just rule in my favor, oh no. She went above and beyond. She ordered the HOA to compensate me double the replacement cost for my screen as punitive damages. And because I'd provided estimates, She specified that the replacement had to be of equal or greater quality, meaning they were on the hook for a brand new, top-of-the-line setup. But the real twist? The judge also ordered that the HOA officially approve future use of the screen for community movie nights. That's right. Karen basically funded the upgrade and locked herself into letting me use it. The cherry on top? When I went to buy the new screen, the store was having a sale on an even bigger model 16 feet with a higher-res projector. The HOA had to cover it. We had our first movie night with the new setup last Friday. Karen stayed inside with the blinds closed, but half the neighborhood came out, including Mr. Bennett, who brought homemade cookies. I guess the moral of the story is, know your rights. HOAs can be useful, but some folks let that tiny bit of power go straight to their heads. And when they do, sometimes karma shows up wearing a judge's robe. What do you think? Was I in the right? Was the judge fair? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. Thanks for listening, and if you've got ideas for more stories like this, don't forget to share them. Oh, and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel for more wild HOA tales.